Today we are announcing campaign finance, bribery, and conspiracy charges against Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City. As the indictment alleges, Mayor Adams engaged in a long-running conspiracy in which he solicited and knowingly accepted illegal campaign contributions from foreign donors and corporations. As we allege, Mayor Adams took these contributions even though he knew they were illegal, and even though he knew these contributions were attempts by a Turkish government official and Turkish businessmen to buy influence with him. We also allege that the mayor sought and accepted well over $100,000 in luxury travel benefits from some of the same foreign actors who arranged many of the illegal campaign contributions. These benefits included free international business class flights and opulent hotel rooms in foreign cities. The mayor had a duty to disclose these gifts on his annual public disclosure forms so that the public could see who was giving him what. But as we allege, year after year after year, he kept the public in the dark.
As alleged, the mayor's 2021 campaign falsely certified compliance with campaign finance laws in order to conceal those illegal campaign contributions, and as a result of those false certifications, received over $10 million in public matching funds. The mayor's alleged acceptance and concealment of illegal contributions and personal benefits gave overseas benefactors, wealthy individuals, and businesses undue influence over the mayor, influence that federal and local laws seek to prevent.
A few moments later.
Now to New York, where federal prosecutors have been ordered to drop the government's corruption case against Mayor Eric Adams. He had been facing 5 charges, among them bribery and fraud. A Justice Department memo says now that the case was interfering, however, with Adams' ability to help with President Trump's immigration crackdown. The Justice Department was at pains to point out that they're not dropping this based on the merits or a review of the evidence. They're not saying he's innocent. So what are they saying here?
Explicitly saying they're not looking at the merits of this case, and the reasons that they're giving for this order to drop the case are, one, that it's distracting Mayor Adams from really getting in line with President Trump's immigration policies. You know, New York has traditionally been a sanctuary city, but Mayor Adams has recently really been getting behind the federal push with ICE agents, cooperating even with ICE agents in the immigration space. They've also really, in this memo, pointed to President Trump's, this idea of the weaponization of the Justice Department, and Adams was very vocal, feeling he was persecuted in this prosecution because he publicly spoke out against the Biden administration's immigration policies.
And now a Manhattan DA resigned after refusing to drop the corruption charges on the crooked mayor, as Trump's Department of Justice orders the state of New York to drop its corruption charges on its own mayor. Those charges are about bribes in the form of free first-class flights, hotel rooms, gifts, and political donations from foreign officials and real estate groups, all to fast-track piece-of-shit buildings. But apparently all of that is okay as long as you defend the secret police doing raids in your city. The mayor put his influence for sale to win political races, which makes sense because after all, if he doesn't win any position of power, he's no good to anyone. But funny enough, he's not good to anybody as the mayor, so he's playing with house money, Turkish house money. According to the New York Times and Huffington Post, prosecutors in the Southern District of New York indicted Adams on multiple corruption charges in 2024 related to his dealings with Turkey as both mayor and when he served as Brooklyn Borough President from 2014 to 2021. On Monday, the Trump administration announced that it would drop the charges without prejudice, providing a bunch of political reasons for doing so, including the desire for Adams to help the administration enforce its mass deportation policies. If you defend secret police kidnapping by the federal government, you too could be the most corrupt mayor in New York City's history.
And he doesn't come through.
You're up early anyway.
If he doesn't come through, I'll be back in New York City, and we won't be sitting on the couch. I'll be in his office, up his butt, saying, "Where the hell is the agreement we came to?" So,
I want ICE to deliver. And I want ICE to deliver. We're going to deliver for the safety of the people of this city.
And he doesn't come through.
You're up early anyway.
If he doesn't come through, I'll be back in New York City, and we won't be sitting on the couch. I'll be in his office, up his butt saying, where the hell is the agreement we came to? So
I want ICE to deliver. And I want ICE to deliver. We're going to deliver for the safety of the people of this city.
The mayor instructed city workers to allow ICE agents to run through schools, shelters, hospitals, anything if they feel threatened by the agents. The indictment listed over 23 overt acts in furtherance of the conspiracy. It's why his friends who also have positions of power have been raided and chose to resign. Even the new people that replaced them, their houses were raided too for their phones and other communication. So why did the DOJ make the call for these charges to be dropped? Not because Mayor Adams is innocent, but because he's a Democrat who supports Trump's mass deportation. That's it. So if you're helping police terrorize people, corruption is good. Big money from Turkey paid for nice things in exchange for New York City influence for almost a decade. Not only personal gifts and first-class flights, but also bribes for his campaign. And apparently it all worked, since now the Department of Justice is telling the state of New York to drop its corruption case. Now, does that mean he got away with it? Basically, yes, so far. Even though corruption is a major part of politics already, Trump is personally making corruption legal. But like anything else for sale, it's not without a price. It was in exchange for a lackey to carry out ICE raids in New York City schools, shelters, and hospitals. So much for draining the swamp. Mayor Adams received bribes for a building that couldn't even pass inspection. So instead of paying the necessary people and materials to make sure the building is up to par, they decided it would be cheaper to pay off a shady mayor. Not the worst investment, since now the DOJ is asking the state to drop his charges. But the interim U.S. attorney, Danielle Sazoon, chose to resign instead of dropping the charges. According to the New York Times, the filing cited, quote, concrete evidence that Mr. Adams had taken illegal campaign contribution. It called his claim that his prosecution was politically motivated an attempt to divert attention, quote, from the evidence of his guilt. So instead of disobeying the order to drop the charges, she chose to resign. If the reason for the order to drop the charges was because Mayor Adams was innocent, then this would be a different video. It would be in pure defense of him. But he's betraying his whole city just to maintain power. Mayor Adams not only supports the mass deportation policies of the new regime, but sheepishly goes out of his way to squash any criticism of it. He's helping the federal government so much. As a main reason to drop the charges, the DOJ said, quote, the pending prosecution has unduly restricted Mayor Adams' ability to devote full attention and resources to immigration. They didn't mention not helping the homeless, not making schools better, not making sure people have food or are able to afford their rent. Nothing to actually help anyone. If people who have less than you are the reason your life is miserable, you're perfectly distracted from the fact that billionaires bribe politicians to create poverty as a necessary part of their businesses. Billionaires create poverty and then blame the poorest people they could convince you are taking from you, not the people that pay politicians to keep rents high and wages low. Is this the federal government saying corruption is legal? Yes, but only if you support punitive policies. Only then will the powerful protect you. Accepting bribes is corruption that's not new to New York City. Actually, as all of this is happening, a former fire department chief just recently pled guilty to taking bribes.
Mary Chris, good morning. As you mentioned, more resignations down the street at City Hall. And right here at federal court, a former FDNY chief, Brian Cordasco, is expected to take a plea deal later this morning. Cordasco will plead guilty to conspiracy to solicit and receive a bribe. Now, before retiring, Cordasco, along with Anthony Saccavino, worked in the FDNY Bureau of Fire Prevention. Prosecutors allege the two took advantage of the fire inspections backlog caused by the pandemic to make nearly $200,000 for speeding up fire safety approvals. Meanwhile, more turmoil at City Hall. Sources tell Marsha Kramer that Mohammed Bahi with the mayor's community affairs unit has resigned. Rana Abasoba was terminated. She had been on leave and worked in the mayor's international affairs office and is reportedly cooperating with the feds. Winnie Greco, the mayor's director of Asian affairs, also resigned in March. Federal agents searched properties belonging to her. Now, in addition to those departures, we also learned Monday that Deputy Mayor for Public Safety Philip Banks is deciding to move on. The mayor saying it was his choice, downplaying the fact that the feds raided Banks' home, along with that of his brother David Banks, who is now also retiring from his role of school's chancellor. And of course, Mayor Eric Adams, he was indicted on bribery charges and has pleaded not guilty. Now,
but when it revolves around property and real estate where everyone lives, it directly affects your life whether you feel it today or not. Real estate isn't just an asset. It's the price of all our rents and mortgages. Prices of homes artificially inflated because some assholes bought some nice things for a shady mayor. Take that shit somewhere else.